Hello, everyone. I am so happy for what I'm going to share with you today because I'm sharing my friend Alexis. Hi, Alexis. This is Alexis Saloutos.
Hello, Kari.
Alexis is a dear friend of mine. It's almost hard to describe the kind of magic she brings because she brings together so much amazingness. She's trained nutritionist and she's an intuitive, and she has this incredible healing program called Chakredy. And Alexis is just such a wonderful person. And one reason I love her, one of the many reasons I love her, is because she's wise and hilarious. That's like my favorite combination. So Alexis, we wanted, this is like almost impossible for us to bring together, but I wanted it to do. Alexis is extraordinarily pregnant right now.
Yeah, and you can see it here.
You cannot. That's
in my face.
That I wanted. And I'm moving in 2 weeks. We're both like in 2 weeks about to have these massive transformations.
Yes.
So Alexis, so I'm packing up to move and I'm looking around all my home and I see this incredible pendulum that I use all the time that Alexis, did you hand make these?
No.
But you have them made.
But they're made special, yes, for Chakredy.
It's your vision. It's like this incredible, I use this daily. So it's like the last thing to be packed. And I was looking at Archangel Michael that she brought me back from Greece. And I was going through my house and these Chakredy vials and her program. And I was like, wow, this Alexis is such a great friend. I want to do something special for her. And then Alexis came out like the next day with this incredible program that I'm like freaking out because it's so good. Freaking out in the best way. And
it is good.
It is amazing. Good's not even the right. It's just incredible. and she's I saw her, she created this program. And I'm like, I want to share this with my, anyone who can benefit from it. But before I did, I was like, well, I want people to get to know Alexis, because to know Alexis is to love Alexis. And I wanted you to have the opportunity to know her and get a feel for her energy and her wisdom and how uplifting she is and what a great teacher she is. So I present to you, Alexis.
Oh, thank you so much, Kari. What a kind introduction. And it's just such a gift to spend this time with you. And here we are in these chaotic stages of our lives coming together.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for this invitation. And I'm so excited to begin this journey and this program, and lots of exciting things opening up, lots of transitions. And here we are talking on 6/6. I couldn't help but notice And
6 is the number. So people who are receiving this, you might receive it after 6/6, but Alexis and I are recording this on the 6th of June. And 6 is actually the number that's associated with pregnancy. It's actually shaped like a pregnant, and you are shaped like that now, Alexis. You're a tiny.
I am very. I am.
She's a planet. She's such thick. And that's the number of balance and harmony and healing with vibration. It's a vibration. It's associated with music as well, because it's all about vibrational healing. And so this is the day that worked best for us. And what a surprise, right?
Perfect.
So, Alexis, I don't do justice describing who you are and what you do. Do you mind like giving us a little synopsis of?
Yes. Yes, I know. It's lots of things. There are a lot of things going on. I would describe myself as a mad scientist on some level, but my academic background is actually in nutrition, and I've spent most of my life and career devoted to the physical body, health and healing through exercise science, through nutritional sciences. And then I graduated with my master's from Bastyr in 2012 and set out to open a practice and get my nutrition practice going. And my life took a different direction, and what a surprise. And I'm wearing mine. I've got so many of these, but I'm wearing this one. Out of curious application, I started to use this pendulum over clients that I was seeing and doing a combination of nutrition counseling, muscle testing, energy work. And over time, I realized that the pendulum would move in specific ways over specific parts of the body. And those parts of the body were the chakras. And one day it just all came together and I realized that there was this chakra assessment, and Chakredy was born from that core work of the chakra assessment. So my work has evolved to be essentially, I train other people how to work with energy, how to engage directly with the body and the energy, and identify and prioritize imbalances that surface within all layers, physical and energetic. But this program that we are coming together and talking about is really centered around helping people develop their intuitive context and language so that they can tangibly connect with their intuition and tangibly articulate what they're experiencing. Because I've noticed over the years how powerful it is to have a structure to place impressions, and that helps to make what's coming through intuitively less vague or less just more clear, so that the intellect can actually process what's going on, and we're less likely to override that intuitive information when we can give it language and make sense of it.
That's so incredible that you do that. And by the way, for people that aren't as familiar with your work, Chakredy is a different program than this intuition building 40-day program. So, and are you doing that as well? Is that something that you can only do live when you're doing it live?
For the Chakredy trainings?
Yeah.
The level 1 and 2 are automated.
Oh, okay. So I'll include links to those too.
Yes, they're automated. And the 40-day intuition builder is a 40-day intensive to immerse yourself in. Yeah, it will be mind-blowing.
Yes, it is mind-blowing.
No, it really is. It's so exciting. I realized that I had this realization a couple years ago that every chakra was intuitive, and it seemed so obvious when I made that connection. It's like, of course, every chakra is intuitive, but no, every chakra has specific intuitive indicators associated with it, like specific sensations, specific impressions that we can place, and we can connect in with each of the energy centers, and that this is a very powerful way to structure our intuitive context and to develop that language. So I'm passionate about systems and structure in a strange way when it comes to energy, not to other areas necessarily of my life. As a double Aquarius, I'm just kind of,
I was wondering, I was like, where'd she get that from?
Yeah, that's definitely it. But
double Aquarius, and they tend to be very visionary. Seriously,
there's a lot of that. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that comes down from future self.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Is this something you can describe briefly? What these, just a Cliff Notes version of what these energetic nuances you found in the chakras?
Sure. So for example, if we start with the root chakra, we can look at specific intuitive indicators. And what I mean by intuitive indicator is a sensation or an impression, something specific to that energy center. And that another connection that I've made over time is just that intuition really is resonance, what is resonating and what is not resonating. And we could take that into the direction of physics, and that things that pull us away from being centered and anchored in our energy centers are powerful intuitive indicators. They can be powerful things to pay attention to so that we begin to see and can develop awareness around those things. So they're not just these, oh, I had this feeling, but I couldn't really connect with exactly what it was, and so I didn't pay attention to it. We can get super specific and notice if there's a tug at the gut level, at the solar plexus, if there's a specific type of flutter at the heart, or heat sensation at the throat. So we're working with very specific sensations and impressions associated with each of the energy centers in this program.
That's amazing. So can you give me an example of what would happen in a situation like that? An example of how that would play out in real life?
Absolutely. So one of my passions is I term it solar plexus sensitivity. I call myself a solar plexus sensitive, and I train a lot of other solar plexus sensitives in the Chakredy work. And what I mean by that is people who tend to live their life through the lens of the solar plexus, through the lens of the gut, that they tend to feel everything at a gut level. And so this can be very challenging when there is not a context or a language to place what's going on, because when you are highly sensitive from that part of your body, you tend to feel everybody else, feel your environment, and the likelihood of bringing back that energy and internalizing it is so great when your feelers are just out there.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah.
So one example that I would use is just going into a space and immediately feeling a shift in what's happening at the gut level, at the solar plexus in yourself, and maybe feeling a surge of anxiety or feeling overwhelmed, that you can sense that there's some type of tension between people in a space. And so these are the kinds of things that we can develop awareness around and pay attention to, and actually associate very specific sensations with, so that we learn how to give language and understand what's going on, and not just internalize it all, where it becomes very muddled and very overwhelming. And confusing.
It's super confusing. And, a lot of people have misconceptions about intuition, that it's a third eye thing, typically.
Yes.
That it's all clairvoyance. And me, plus most of the intuitives that I know, started out all in this solar plexus kind of clairsentient, very empathic knowing. And so first of all, even after I did readings for several years professionally, I was always like, when am I going to be psychic? Because because it was so much information through the body. And the other thing is, so many people, and I want to talk to you about hovering in a minute. So many people, we tend to just be all up here trying to figure out our life and trying to even figure out what our body's telling us. So we'll have this automatic and autonomic sensations and experience happen to us in the body, in the chakras, in the lower chakras, and then our head rushes to figure it out.
Yes.
And then it causes so much chaos and anxiety and depression and confusion and so much health problems, so many health problems, because you're not in your body and paying attention to your body. And so I love that your program is bringing it back to the body, because that's how I teach intuition as well. I'm always about bring it back to the body, ground your energy, feel it.
Yes.
And, because our lower chakras, when you're all up here, it's ungrounded information anyway. If you're not grounded in these lower chakras, and you don't know how to listen to all of the information coming through all of your energy centers, then this is not even going to make any sense to you. Right?
Oh my gosh, Kari, I'm so excited, because I feel like yes, we're speaking the same language on all levels. And it's so true. I mean, one of the main things that I teach in all of the Chakredy levels of the work, I mean, and everything that I teach really comes back to being in the body, that we need to be grounded in this physical body in order to do this work. And there can oftentimes be, I think it can just be a lack of awareness, or that, if you don't grow up with this being taught, it takes a while to come into a place where it's integrated, and grounding is such an important piece. And how easy it can be for the intellect to kind of just jump in, override. And that's one of the things that has been so exciting and powerful with the Chakredy framework, is just that when you have a structure and you can actually place things specifically, it is harmonizing for the intuition and the intellect to dynamically engage with one another. So there's not this override or constant, forward projection and diving in, interfering, and that we can stay back and we can observe and remain curious, and then apply the intellect to the information that's coming through to process it and to communicate it. But yes, definitely. And the lower chakras, and that's what's so, that was so exciting to me about this discovery, this connection that, oh my gosh, every chakra is intuitive. That I find the root chakra communicates very clearly when you do tend to pop into places where you're not grounded, that can actually be an intuitive indicator that something's going on to pay attention to. When your energy responds in that way, that it can be a reflex. Same with energetic boundaries shifting, which I connect in with the sacral chakra. So there are just lots of ways to look at how our bodies are speaking to us, and how we can gather information from that it's not just hearing guides and seeing auras.
Which is like almost like, for me, a clairsentient person, something that developed much later.
Yes.
After I did readings for years and years and years.
Yes. I really tried to force it in the beginning for myself.
Of course you do.
Why am I not seeing it? Why am I not hearing this?
Because that's what you're taught being psychic is, or being intuitive. I don't know, taught, like who's teaching us, but in terms of media, right? Or like stuff you see out, out there in the world. It's very, weirdly, it's not as mystical and weird as it's portrayed to be. It's supernatural. It's supernatural, but it's also supernatural, right?
Yes.
And I want to talk to you about energetic boundaries and also leaving our bodies. Talk about hovering. I know you talk about hovering, and you've written about that on your newsletter for a few times, and I think that's part of your 40-day intuition program.
Yes, that's something that surfaces in relationship to the root chakra. It's one of what I call the ungrounded presentations of the root, that we can move into a space. The most common presentations that I see of people not being in their bodies are hovering, being up here, or also projecting from this part of their energy that they're very heavily weighted forward, and it's like from the third eye projection. But how this is where my work in more of a clinical environment, working with clients, having spent so much of my life dedicated to the physical body, merges with energy, that I really do feel, and from what I've seen in my own experience, that if our energy is not actually present in our physical body, then a lot happens. And that to heal, the process of bringing our awareness and our energy into our physical body is where these tremendous healing shifts happen. So, but that can be very hard when you are in pain, when there are uncomfortable things that are surfacing. The tendency is to pop out of the body, or to want to disconnect, or to not feel the discomfort of being in this human experience. And so the power of bringing your energy and awareness into the physical body is just massive.
Yeah. So why do people hover then? And can you explain like what that process is and why it happens and how you can, how you can correct that?
How you can undo it.
How you can unhover.
I feel like it, and I'm curious what your thoughts are on this too, but I feel like it happens for so many reasons that it can happen just from, it's almost like an autopilot that we are so busy and we're so preoccupied, and it's so easy to get stuck in thought loops that we're not actually grounded in our physical body, that we can go throughout our days without being in here, that we're just so up here. And that a lot of highly sensitive people too, it's fun. I mean, it's fun to be up here, and there's a lot going on, and it can feel really heavy and dense to bring your energy down. But I also feel like that's where the magic happens too, from being in this body, and that we can tap into more and we can connect in a more clear and empowered way when we are in our bodies, instead of just being up here and connecting, like you said. Who knows what's coming through at that
that's
point.
the thing. It's like you're leaving your house open at that point. You're like,
yes.
You're like vacating your premises and just,
yes.
Like, that's cool. Whatever happens.
Right.
So before I studied intuition, and I didn't study with a human. I'll just make that clear. Like I did, but
I believe it.
They're not that you can see. You know, my spirit guides and angels trained me mostly, and I got books like from the library and stuff. But
totally.
So I didn't. But what was happening to me is when I first started being aware that I was like really psychic, I wanted to avoid it because I was afraid that I'd connect with negative entities and negative energies, which I actually had when I was younger because I was vacating my body, do you know? And then it's just, you're leaving yourself open to squatters at that point. And so the paradox in that is that when you're very active about studying it, it actually prevents that from happening. It's like learning about germs, you know, it's like you just do this to prevent germs and then you won't get sick, you know, like, so it's basically like the more you know, the more psychic protection that you have. And so I know a lot of people are afraid of studying intuition because of what it opens them up to, but it's actually the opposite.
Yes. Yes. I love how you're touching on all of, yes, check.
That's why we're,
yes. And this surfaces a lot too. I see just, I mean, I know I relate, and that was my experience as well. And I agree that for me to not knowing how to actually be in my body, I think that's part of why I spent so much of my life devoted to the physical body and exercise science. Exercise was the only tool that I had to ground myself in all of my youth. And I didn't realize that then, but it's like I had to physically push myself so hard to get myself into my body. And that when I did start working with energy, that these things opened up, and there was a lot of opportunistic stuff that came through, and that was part of how I learned how to ground, how to create clear energetic boundaries. Because like you said, when you vacate, there's all sorts of stuff around.
All sorts of stuff.
But learning how to develop your intuitive abilities into a refined skill set does not equate to opening yourself up to negative energies and entities. That we all can be exposed to those things. And when you don't know how to be in your body, or you have difficulty accessing that and establishing and maintaining clear energetic boundaries, that stuff is still around. It's like, if you don't look at it, that doesn't mean that it's not there.
Right. Exactly.
So
And when you're present and you understand how to know what's your energy and what's not your energy, and how to listen to that language and define what's yours, define what's disruption. That's when you stay healthy physically, emotionally, and spiritually. It does have a huge impact on physical health, does it not?
Yes, absolutely. And so much of this work is discernment. I feel like it's learning how to discern what is yours, what is not yours. There's just, and the levels and layers of discernment are endless. I mean, there's always something more to learn about yourself and how you can navigate your life experience in an empowered way. And
please go on.
Oh, no, you go.
No, you go.
No, you go.
Well, is this why you created a 40-day program? Because this is very thorough, this program.
This is actually, so I am way over delivering with this program. I just want to, but everyone who knows me and all of my students who've been through Chakredy trainings know it is extremely hard for me to tone it down and reel it in.
I totally get that. Are you going to over deliver? Does this mean you're going to have a 2-minute labor or a
I know. Yes, there's that too. I know. Oh, God help me.
I'm the same way because things come through and you want it to be a complete, it's like, it's a system. So you can't just say, I'm going to stop here. Because the system comes through, and I know you're channeling this, it comes through the way it wants to come through as a complete system.
Yes.
Right.
And it's very thorough. I mean, the way that I like to learn is also the way that I teach, which is in condensed as clear and sweet and short and direct as possible. I like to condense things so that, every lesson is not an hour and a half long, because who has the bandwidth for that? So it's short and sweet video teachings, but there is a lot of information there. And there's also, I personally love to learn visually as well. Mm-hmm. And so there are lots of charts.
Oh, wow.
There is a lot going on, but we go through all of the energy centers. We go through all of the chakras, and this connects with the physical body and anatomy as well, because we're looking at different, and this is where I geek out and I think it's really fun, but we're looking at different planes. So we're looking at how these intuitive indicators, how these sensations and impressions can be placed in relationship to front and back of the energy centers, to left and right, to top and bottom. And so it's very structured, but also just so fun and magical and exciting.
See, this is why I said I love you, because you're fun and magical and wise. And I think that's an important point. People, it's this 40-day program. And it's not like 40 days in the desert. It's like,
no, 40 days of
fairy
fun.
forest. Yeah.
Exactly.
In a fairy forest. And it's not like you need to do it all at once if you don't have the time or whatever. You can space it out, right?
Yes, you can space it out. You can do this at your own pace. I definitely will encourage people to participate in the momentum of the 40-day challenge as it starts, because it will just be fun to be part of that energy and to go through it in that way. And I'm bringing in challenges to keep people motivated. And who doesn't like to be part of a good challenge? I mean, this work is challenging. It invites us to really it invites our intention, our attention, and also requires a certain level of discipline to really put these things to practice. And so being part of a collective that is also going through that same process can be inspiring and motivating and just helpful, can be supportive. So, but this is delivered in bite-sized chunks. So really good information, really fun information, You're going to want to get to the next day of information. You know, you're going to want to skip ahead, but it's delivered in small bits so that those pieces can be integrated and applied. And again, the way that I like to learn, it's like, give me the information. I want the good stuff now. I want immediate gratification. And then there's so much depth to it, and it can be applied in so many different ways that there's this vastness to it as well. So it's really, that's what I love about everything Chakredy. It's not just, you know, this little thing that you, it's always evolving, it's always growing, and there's so many different ways to apply it.
Yeah, it's a totally different way of life.
It's intense.
So can you give us somewhat of a before and after perspective of like, before you do this program, and then here's what you're going to embody and experience through it and as a result of it?
Yes, that's a great question. So if you are coming to this program and you're curious about your developing your intuition, I will say that already there are people I know who have joined who have very little experience working with energy and are just kind of embarking on this journey to develop their intuitive abilities. And then I have some of my advanced practitioners who are going through the program that there's always...
I'm going through it. I'm going to be going through it. Yeah.
Yes, there's always more and exciting stuff to learn. So really you can be anywhere. You can be completely new to energy and intuitive work. You can be highly skilled practitioner in any type of energetic healing modality. This is really meant to help you develop a clear context and language and connect with these sensations and impressions that are tangible, that we can associate with different parts of the body and the energy centers. So my intention and what I see as being the takeaway from this experience is that you will have very specific language to articulate what it is that you're experiencing intuitively. And so that supports not only you and your ability to navigate your circumstances and how that impacts our ability to make choices that are aligned for ourselves when we're clear about what resonates and what doesn't, but also how you can communicate professionally if this is something that you work with, if you work with energy and intuition, that you can further develop and enhance your language around what it is that you're experiencing, what your clients might be experiencing, and bring it into the physical body, because it's much easier to pay attention to what's coming through, and you're much less likely to override the information that's coming through when you can get very specific. And so that's one of the things that Chakredy has taught me, is that getting specificity is super powerful in this work.
So true. So true. You have to develop a language for your intuition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a language here, people.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be super overwhelming and hard. Right. It can actually be very there's strategy and structure and clear ways to connect with it. It doesn't have to be some far off, vague, weird thing.
Yeah, it's basically stuff we should have learned in nursery school.
Absolutely.
It is that easy though, in some respects. Yeah. It's just the hard part is like recognizing things that you've experienced and didn't even realize there was a language to it. You're like, oh, is that what that is? Oh,
yes. And how many interferences can surface. And that's part of this journey as well, that we're looking at interferences at each of the energy centers on physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual levels.
Wow. Yeah.
So, because even things like physical trauma and injury can impact a particular area and how information is coming through. So there's a lot of unraveling and shedding layers, I feel, in connecting with your intuition, connecting and accessing that language because of all of our life experiences that just kind of
took us away from things.
Yeah,
exactly. I am so excited. Well, I'm super excited. I know. It's incredible. I can't believe that and the thing is, you made this very accessible, in terms of price, in terms of
Yes.
everything. That's part of the mind blowing thing too. I'm like, how is she? I don't even understand, but okay. You're
This
making.
is guided. This really feels guided. I feel my intention with this too is this is guided by Chakredy and how this information has come through, but it's also I want to make this accessible, and I feel compelled to reach with this information because it does change everything when you can
Mhm.
operate from this place of resonance and truth and authenticity. And so helping other people get to that place, it's so exciting. And I'm so thrilled to be sharing this, and it is going to be amazing. Absolutely amazing.
It is. I was blown away when I was reading all that and I'll share a link with everyone so they can see this and sign up for the program if it calls you. And yeah, you made it incredibly accessible on every level. And I really appreciate that about you.
Thank you, Kari. Thank you so much.
So is there anything else you'd like to share before we sign off for today on this magical 6/6 day?
I know. I feel so fortunate to have this opportunity to connect with you. And I hope that this information and energy reaches those that are calling it into their experience. And I'm so grateful for you, and so grateful to have this opportunity, because this work I can do it all day long. It's just my favorite thing. And I'm so happy and so out of breath, not out of anxiety, out of pregnancy.
That's hilarious. That's why we're going to wrap it up. But I want people to know, like, and I'm sure you can see that people who know me and have been with me for a while, they know that I don't just share people. Like, I don't think people realize, like, there's people asking us, like, all the time, hey, I've got this thing. Do you want to sign up? Do you want to share it? Do you want to do this? I don't do that. Like,
I know you don't, which
I
is why this is such an honor to be invited into this space with you.
Thank you. I always want to treat people the way I want to be treated. And when I'm sending out an email, I always have this intention, or anything, or sharing a program. It's like, I know in my heart that this is something that's going to help people, or else it just doesn't pass go. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
And I'm sure people can see that. This is why I wanted people to meet you, because I know when they see your energy, and they feel your sincerity and the information that you're sharing, and with such generosity and such a big heart, and genuine desire to help the planet by helping people empower themselves, which is what motivates me as well. I wanted people to see that and feel it and know it, so that, because you're a gift to the world, and I know that it's in your heart to share your gifts with the world so that they can be empowered. So anyone that feels called, and you have the intuition, it's an incredible experience. It's an incredible journey, and intuition's a way of life. And Alexis is an incredible teacher to help you embody that and experience that in a way that's uplifting and magical and fun and empowering. So thank you, Alexis.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So
All
grateful.
Right. All right. Well, thanks everyone. And we, again, I'll put those links below. And if you feel called, this is Alexis, and she can.
Hello. I can't wait to connect with you. And this is going to be such an incredible experience. And I hope that you can feel that. And
I'll be there with you too.
I can't wait to have you in there.
All right, everyone. Lots of love. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.